Hello. In this lesson of how to use a bat lift, we're going to be showing you the basic strikes. Remember, with a bat lift it has two ends, so it's a double-ended weapon. So we can strike with the forehand or with backhand side. So remember, we're going to grab in the middle, palm up, and left hand palm down. And when we're doing these strikes, we're going to try not to cross our hands. Because again, these are the basics. So the first basic strike is the overhead strike. So we're going to come up and we're going to strike down as vertical as you can. So coming in, coming up, out, side, up, striking out. The blade ends up going past your left thigh. So it's a fairly vertical strike. When you're stepping forward on the strike, make sure that your foot lands as you hit. This is a hacking strike. So this is primarily aimed for here or here. It can also be used on a block and then strike the hands. So it can also be used to chop off or hack the hands or elbow joints. So when we're doing this, come up as we land the strike, stomp at the same time. Coming back. So that's the first strike. First forehand strike. Second forehand strike is going to be at a diagonal. This is the upper strike coming in, upper diagonal. Again, it's a hacking strike coming in, gouging, ripping, slicing, cutting down. The strike is aimed here. Side. Again. So the third strike is basically a baseball swing. We're going to aim at the ribcage. We're coming in. We're aiming point these points between the ribs as we can. Coming inside. So this is the level or mid strike from the right to mid strike. The final forehand strike is the low knee strike. So it's the right low strike coming in and down. Again coming in, down. So slowly coming in, side. Okay, one thing to remember in the Faux style of bat lift is there's very little difference between a strike and a block. Most of the time the difference is what you're aiming at. If you're aiming to hit the person, it's a strike. If you're aiming to hit their wrists or the weapon, it's a block, but it's often the same move. So the four forehand strikes are the vertical, the upper, the right mid, and the right low strikes. There are also four backhand strikes. So the first backhand strike is the rising. Comes up, do that to the side, comes up. As you'll notice, this is actually more a stab or an impalement strike. So we're hitting with this point either under the floating ribs into the heart or into the lung, into the femoral artery where they bleed out, or under the jaw. So coming up by doing it here. Very devastating strike. The next strike is the lower diagonal strike. Coming in. So again, coming off the side. In. Slowly. This strike can be aimed for the floating ribs, under the armpit where there's lots of arteries, or to the back of the knee. If you slice the hamstrings, they cannot run after you, you can run away. So, the third backhand strike, the flat strike, is the left mid strike. So it's coming in, so again, so slowly. Again, you're trying to stick these points in the ribs. You try to penetrate the cavity there between the ribs. puncture a lung. Finally, there's the left high strike, which is again a flat strike. Very good block, this one. This one is aimed either at the temple or the throat. So you're basically trying to stick that point in there. And finally, the last of the basic strikes is the lunge. This is probably the most difficult to do with a bat lift. It's stepping forward, the funeral starts, shuffling, pushing in, and pushing over. The important thing here is you can't just push the bat lift into the target. If you just push it in, you're not going to get hurt. Well, it might bruise a bit, but that's blunt. This is sharp, so what you have to do is come in, then come over. So come in, over, down. The usual place this is aimed is this point here, the supracostal notch. So if you push in there and down, they'll cut arteries, nerves. Coming into the clavicles here, above the collarbone, and down on there, again cuts arteries, nerves. So it usually produces very quick death, so be careful of that. So on a strike, we come in, we shuffle, we lunge, and then we rotate the wrists over at extension. So those are the basic strikes. There are many more, but those strikes should take care of 90 to 95% of your fighting needs. And we will be using them in the first form that we will teach you, which are the 88 attacks.